Blog Talk Radio.
So when it's a rhythm, I know don't touch my crown. They see the vision I've found. Don't touch what they
Greetings. I am Ta'Von Powell, divine intuit and spiritual healer, and this is I Am, We Are. All right, wonderful people. I'd like to welcome you into I Am, We Are each and every Friday at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. I am so happy to be with my family today. I call you my family because if you are attracted to me, if you're in my vibrational frequency, or if you're in my universe and in my spirit, you are a child of light. You are a child of love. You are a child of understanding. I am so happy to be here today. I am super excited about today's show. Y'all better tune in, get your notebooks ready, get your consciousness together, get your mind together, get ready for some powerful healing, get ready for some powerful shifting, get ready for some transformation. Let's just go ahead and hold the intention in this space and in this hour and this time for some powerful, powerful, powerful insight, some powerful, powerful transformation, and becoming more of the present. Becoming more of the I am that we are. I am, we are. Again, my name is Ta'Von Powell. I'm a divine intuit and a spiritual healer. And I like to present I Am, We Are. I Am, We Are is a conscious and energetic movement created to assist humans in development of their higher self. I Am, We Are seeks to create spiritual synergy with the connecting and developing of light bearers from across the universe. And when I say universe, I literally mean from across the universe. United in the goal of spiritual transformation. I Am, We Are seeks to merge ancient wisdom, divine revelation, and modern spiritual technology into powerful tools of empowerment and healing. And once again, I am, we are, I am your host. We are here every Friday at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. Right now, to start our show off, we are doing what is called a conversation with the God. See, the conversation with the God is a play on is a play on the book, The Conversations with God. See, within all of us, there is the God frequency. Within all of us, there is the God vibration. And so through the next several months, I'm going to be introducing humans that are vibrating to the God frequency into the collective. And I'm going to bring them on in the Conversations of God series and have them share their perspective, have them share their mission, have them share their light, have them share their understanding. As we are amplified, the I am is amplified. Today I have a special guest on today by the name, I have many names for her. Which name shall I call her first? I'm going to call her Mother God. I'm going to call her Gaia. I'm going to call her I am that she is. You hear what I'm saying? I am that she is. And in her healing consciousness, she goes by the name of Sharon. Sharon Andrea will be our guest on today. And we're going to have a very, very powerful conversation because we're going to talk about twin flames. Ooh, my. We're going to talk about twin flames. And we also are going to be getting into the ancient world. Spirit is really going to take over this call, and I know it's going to be very, very impactful. If you would like to call in, please dial 646-668-2382. That's 646-668-2382. And before I bring Sharon on, because we're going to have a really interesting conversation, I would like to set the mood with meditation. So for me, meditation is very simple. It's not about getting anything. It's not about seeing any special light being or anything of that sort. It's about really solacing the brain silencing the brain, and sitting in connection with source within. So as I play the meditation music, I'm only giving a simple instruction for today. You want to just practice the technique of breathing in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. You want to breathe in through the nose, and you want to exhale from the mouth. You want to breathe in through the nose, and we want to exhale through the mouth. And that today, for our meditation, I want you to think about your intention for today's call. I want you to think about, what are you desiring to get out of today's call? What are you desiring for Spirit to bring to you? Because we are all just here as channels of light. We are just all here as beings of light. What are you choosing? Thank you, Spirit. What are you choosing to gather from the conversation, from my soul, from sharing souls to your soul? What is your soul requiring on today? I want you to hold that in your conscious awareness as we begin our meditative moment. After our meditative moment, then we will bring in our special guest on the line.
You are about to embark on a guided meditation journey. Over the next few minutes, I will guide you into a deep state of relaxation where you will experience a wonderful calmness and meditative state of mind. This time is for you and you alone. You don't need to do anything except relax and allow yourself to have this time. You may wish to close your eyes or keep them open or switch between both. It doesn't matter which. Just do whatever feels right for you. You are always completely in control, and if at any time during this meditation you wish to return to your awakened state, you may do so simply by opening your eyes. Breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. Again, breathe in deeply and exhale fully. Allow the sound of the waves to calm your mind. Breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. You may notice that thoughts and internal mental chatter are happening inside your mind. This is completely normal. These thoughts will begin to quiet down as you concentrate on listening to the sound of the waves. As you listen to each wave coming in, you'll find your mind gently begins to quiet. Breathe in deeply and exhale fully, breathing in cool, refreshing air, exhaling hot, tense air. You may wish to close your eyes now as you begin to feel more and more relaxed. Allow the sounds of the ocean to wash over you, bringing you closer to the infinite source of energy within you, allowing yourself to be in total peace with your surroundings. Now, as you find yourself feeling more and more relaxed, I'm going to count down from 5. As I count each number, you will feel more and more relaxed until you reach the sense of complete and wonderful relaxation. 5. Feeling more relaxed. 4. Allowing the sound of the waves to calm your mind. 3. Slowing down your thoughts as you connect with the natural rhythms of the universe.
Oh,
2.
God.
Your mind is calm. 1. Experience the blissful serenity that is deep relaxation. Allow the sound of the waves to continue relaxing your whole body. Take a few moments to enjoy this wonderful experience. You may wish to remain in this deeply relaxed state for a while after this recording has ended, in which case you don't need to do anything right now. When you are ready to resume your day, simply take a few breaths and open your eyes.
All righty, everybody. I want to thank you all for having that very, very powerful meditation. We ran into a few technical difficulties, but the show will go on. And so right now, I'm going to skip over the introduction that I had for Sharon. I'm going to let her introduce herself because I know she's dying to get on the call or living to get on the call. So Sharon, I'm getting ready to open up your mic. So I want you to say hello to everybody. Let's see.
Greetings.
Sharon.
Thank you for. Hello, greetings.
Hello. Hi, are you there? Yes. How are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you clearly.
Okay. Let me begin again. Greetings, beautiful souls. I am thankful for this day and this moment to be here on this call with Ta'Von, the moment that we've all been waiting for such a long time. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Sharon Andrea. I am a spiritual empathic reader, healer. I'm also the entire embodiment of the divine feminine. I also teach the principles of the I am as I speak, walk it, and teach it as well. I am also doing an audiobook for the planet called The Return of the Garden of Eden. And so I am the one that is reincarnated here to help souls towards their path and journey back to true love, and also to the light and shedding light to the darkness. And when I say to the darkness, that which is hidden, that which has remained within each and every soul to just be awakened. So on this call today, Ta'Von invited me to speak about, the twin flame connections and how it really works, because I am an energy reader. I do twin soul readings, or anyone who's on a higher soulmate path, which I prefer to say is more true, sacred, divine love. And to bring truth to this, so that way there's less confusion on the planet, because I'm very much into communication and how each person understands things according to their own perspective. And the more that you uncover yourself is the better you start to feel, and also your journey does become easier. So I just wanted to at least introduce myself to that in that respect. So.
And we thank you for that. So I want to acknowledge you for taking time out of your day to have this conversation with me. Me and Sharon have known each other for eternity, but in this human incarnation, almost, I say about a year, almost a year, if not a year.
Can't remember.
Yeah, because what's happening is we have collapsed all those timelines of separation. And so is when the soul is reawakened with another soul that is on a particular frequency, the human understanding of time, space, and reality is totally erased. And we just vibrate on frequency and vibration. So that's what happens when we connect with light beings and people on a particular frequency. And so with that being said, talking about the twin flames, because you're the perfect person to talk about this with, because a lot of people come to me and ask me this question. So I wanted to ask you in your own words, what does it mean to be on a twin flame journey?
Oh, boy, I love when I get questions. I love it, because the reason is that it pulls out more out of me. And, Spirit already has been communicating with me already since yesterday, and what, we're talking about and how it goes. But, even if I try to, memorize it or what's been said to me, it's always about being in that moment, being in the moment. And when I do speak on anything to do with this twin flame journey, it is because it is mostly based on my own experiences, as well as whatever's happening based on readings that I do or who is in contact with me, because we all each carry divine, sacred, divine masculine and feminine codes. So when I think of the twin flame journey and how Spirit guides me to speak on it, there are more than one meanings. There's more than one idea, and it's more so to speak on it on how it feels and not how it looks with your eyes. I always say take into consideration that you are in the physical 3D body, but my main thing to help each person is to also know to go to the other side as well, go into the higher concept of what this twin flame journey is all about, and therefore you will not feel as if you're in all this pain, because it's a joyful, painful experience. It's delightful. It's magical. And you see, that's how I view it. Other people, they look at it as if it's too much. They can't take it because they're too wrapped up in the relationship aspect of this. And through this journey, the best way I can describe what the twin flame experience is like I said to God, I said, because I have my own conversations with God. And I said to God, I said, you're so clever. You're so clever that this whole thing has been orchestrated by us as the microcosmic aspect to have us come back to ourselves based on coming from that space of love and falling in love and being in love, And I study human behavior, and I study the dynamics of all of this. I study the whole thing. I do, because I am the one that observes everything because of who I am from the beginning of time. I am the reincarnation of Queen Nefertiti, and I am the reincarnation of the goddess said Isis, the daughter that was here first, was shown to me by spirit. And so as I see everything that started from the beginning of time is how we started from in the beginning. And, the twin soul is two physical beings that share the same soul frequency. And so we decided to separate ourselves through lifetimes, many lifetimes, in order to gain experience and knowledge to get to understand and to know yourself. Because as I describe it in the book, is like you know what you know, like you read a book, but then now the soul's desire is to know itself based on all these different experiences that we have. And so we each represent each time frame in many ways. One lifetime you could represent someone who's here to forgive, and in order to forgive, that means you have to go through something in order to be in that element of forgiveness. That someone, what you call, do something to you. So neither any one of us are victims of any of these circumstances. And so the twin soul journey is based on coming back to yourself, especially. It is also a path back to true love. It is also a path back to what we're shifting on the planet, because Ta'Von knows I don't like using the word mission. I can't stand it. So I stand up for it. In more saying that when we're living out our passion, I feel that's how Spirit says, Sharon, say it in that way. As we live out our passions, what we desire to do, where no one tells you what is your passion, because your passion could be dog walking, and that's still your blessing, you see? That is also a part of your twin flame journey. It could be putting on makeup. Yes. It could be planting, the plants in the garden, anything. And so that's a part of your twin flame journey. It is also based on being in love and coming back to true love. And it's a sacred path because, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. Because I didn't want to slip me, but there's a couple things you said, and I just love how there's and this is what the intent of this show is. We are creating a collective synergy, creating a space where we amplify each other in light, and peel back the layers of this thing called consciousness. But it's something that I've taken notes. I always take notes, but I'm taking notes. It's something you said that has come up on all three of my radio broadcasts, and it's the idea. It's the idea that it's not what it looks like on the surface level, and understanding. And the guidance that I've been given through the angels that I work with and the beings that I work with, that our physical senses will always lie to us, because our physical senses is limited by physical reality or third-dimensional reality of what's around us. And when we understand with this twin flame journey or higher spiritual relationships or higher spiritual journeys, it is majorly built in the spirit. It is built in the soul, and that's a much higher frequency. So what we have to begin to do is apply that soul awareness to the physical reality. I call it shifting the shift. And shift the physical perspective into what we already know on a soul level.
So basically it's like allowing yourself to listen to your soul and not what you're seeing only, because, I say each person should allow themselves to feel and observe it and allow yourself to look back at it like you're watching your movie. And it's your perspective on it, because two people can be having similar experiences, which is also another aspect of the twin flame connection, is that as the masculine is going through their own experiences with their own awakening through the feminine as well, and vice versa. And so when I do, some readings, and there's some, especially of the feminine aspect of this template, they're constantly so focused on what the masculine is doing, and he's this and that, judging, criticizing, calling names. And when you're doing that, you are not helping yourself, because you're actually speaking of yourself, because they're a mirror of you and you're a mirror of them. And so when I heard you speaking, because anytime anyone is speaking, I get visions, and it is how you look at it and how you respond to what you're experiencing. Because one person can say, oh, I just got $5, and then the person says, oh, my God, I'm so happy. The other person gets the $5 and says, oh, man, that sucks. That's not even enough. Who was showing more greater appreciation and understanding of what that meant? You see, I'm just giving that as an example, because every person responds to things differently. And and the way how life is that everything and all things respond to you. It still comes back to you, because we mirror everything, and we mirror it in different myriad of ways. So that's why it is not really good to judge another person's path, even those who are on the twin flame path. Also the part of the twin flame path and connection is how the universe, how God, Yahweh, Jah, doesn't matter what name, you see, the all there is, allows us to come back to that connection to the divine, because too much has been placed on the aspect of just what's happening in the physical. And this is how spirit is getting everyone's attention now, regardless of what title that you have. See?
Yeah. So I want to. You said something. You said a lot that was profound, but I want to kind of help our listeners out. This is, and I love how the conversation is all flowing from the previous shows we had. So let's make this practical, okay? So suppose I know that I have a twin flame vibration, and I know that I know who my twin is, right? And so I get all this. I come to you for a reading. I come to you and I say, Mother Sharon, Gaia, Nefertiti, whatever I choose to call you at that time. I'm choosing to get some guidance around this journey, and so I come to you and you give me everything that I need from spirit, and so now I'm telling my twin. Now I'm telling them, well, Sharon said this, that, and the third. Sharon said this, that, and the third, and they don't respond in the way that I know on a soul level it's supposed to happen. What do I do in that situation?
What I recommend to do in that situation, number one, is going with the flow. When I say going with the flow, meaning that even if you don't have a response, it's not anything to take personal. Too many people take it so personal, and at the same time, you're honoring yourself as well. I too did that when I uncovered who I was initially as Queen Nefertiti. I did contact my twin. I did say to him, "Oh, guess what?" Because for me, I found it to be fascinating. I thought it was so exciting. He was excited too, but then he pulled back, and it wasn't because I did anything, but that's a part of the process. Okay, so for those of you who are listening, you're new on this path and you're new on this journey, you're not crazy. Then again, you are. Because we're not on this journey also to be in a normal status. Picture my fingers, the two fingers going up normal. What is normal? It's a natural state. It is natural for you to feel rejected. It's natural for you to feel abandoned. And it's natural for you to feel, because all of these elements of feelings that you're having is that you're healing your emotional body, your physical body, your etheric body, your astral body. You're healing all these bodies, and that is what comes up as a trigger for you based on when you're making contact with your twin. There's times when you will, and please understand that it's not just to be identified only with the feminine aspect. There's also those who are in the male body that are also experiencing rejection on the other side, and it's a female that's rejecting them. So it goes in both ways, because spirit chooses to have this experience of coming back to itself, because that's what it is. We're all coming back to ourselves, our true self, our true authentic self. And so when you are there before your, your mirror of who you are, it's like you go through these triggers and activations, you see. And so it's to allow yourself again to be patient, come from a space of wisdom. What you may not understand at the point, where you're at with your journey, allow spirit to guide you. It's truly like the Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland. Follow the yellow brick road. You fell down the hole, and because I always relate to it from a childlike space, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be painful. Even when it's painful, the way how the alchemy works with this is that pain, you turn it back and bring it back into love. How is love showing up as me through this person and the next person? And your twin flame path is not just about that one person that you are trying to identify with only. Your twin is showing you how much are you expanding on this love through others, because it's a divine union of others. And through the stages that you go through this, there are periods of what we call separation. The separation is also an illusion as well, because you see, verse says, I must always complete that circle. Because, when you think of the word separation, it brings pain, right? You don't feel good. No one likes to feel separated. No one. Anyone, too. No one, anyone.
And I just was about to say that I think that one of the and the way I describe it, I tell people to understand, and it's not my personal opinion, it's the guidance that Spirit gives me around this. I tell people all the time that throw away how you have conceptualized relationships on this physical plane, because this journey has nothing to do with that. And it's really,
and then again, it does too.
But it does.
Yes.
But what I've seen and understand that you get further on your journey by always keeping it about self and God and unfoldment, and not over focusing on anybody's particular action.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you get caught up in the actions, you get caught. Thank you. The way Spirit is bringing it to you, get caught up in the consciousness of the behavior, and you're not seeing the deeper aspect of what's going on a soul level.
Yes.
And so, I always, the way they gave it to me is always project the reality that you're choosing to experience always. And I think part of the challenge is, and let's bring it back into the physical world. If you're choosing, if you're choosing to experience, a partner that is honest with you, and they are now lying to you, what do you do? What do you do in the physical world? Because you say, oh, well, Lord, Spirit, I was choosing honesty. And they present you in the physical world with a lie. And you're triggered emotionally, and it's taking you back into your trauma of childhood and so on and so forth, about the daddy line and so on and so forth. What do you do in that moment? Because these are where individuals get stuck at. It's not getting to reading and conceptualizing and understanding that this is a experience on a soul level. It's when the challenges show up. How do we navigate through them? How do we shift it? How do we peel back the layers? So I'm going to let you go into that, and then I'm going to get ahead.
I'm getting so much information. Yes. Well, I'm going to give you an example of my own experience, what happened with me with my divine partner. I remember there was a moment when this was in the physical, because I have a twin and a divine complement, and I was still having the twin flame experience, with him. And in all consideration, more than just a twin, it's just that true higher path. And so there was a moment when he wasn't having any communication with me, and I sat down and talked to him. I said, I felt like you abandoned me, because I started having this sinking feeling in my stomach. And you see, the thing is that in the moment when I'm feeling what I'm feeling, however I'm feeling, I still alchemize it. I say something more is showing up here, and it's all happening within me, because we all tend to project onto someone else our own feelings. And this is where Spirit is having us coming to a path of having a balanced state within ourselves, really balancing our feminine and masculine aspects within ourselves. Most people don't even realize that they carry both frequencies. We all carry both feminine and masculine. And there's those who are in the female body, some of them have more of the feminine principle than the masculine, but we see that's the connection, you see. And so when I said to him, I said, I felt like he said, but that's not what I was doing. That's not what was happening. I said, wow, that's how I was feeling. And at that moment, it was like, what Oprah say, aha. And I stopped, and I allowed myself, that's the key word, to allow yourself to feel through what you're feeling. But don't stay too stuck down in there. Allow yourself to say, hey, there's something more to this than what is happening than panicking and getting negative about it, you know what I mean, or too negative about it, I should say. And so dynamically what I did is I had to see where it was coming from within me, and I knew at that moment it was something from a past life, because there's almost the average person doesn't even believe in reincarnation. They're aware of it, and I'm not afraid to speak it out. So do not be afraid to speak it out, because also this twin flame connection journey path, however you want to word it, is about coming back to your authenticity, speaking your truth, because many of us have had so much triggers that have come forth with being afraid to speak because we've been hanged, burned, killed, maimed, chopped up, stabbed, you know, all of these things. And so we're healing these trigger wounds of what has happened in the past, because when the soul leaves the body, it's still you. It's not about just your physical 3D body. Because, you know, we're shifting out of this carbon-based body and going back to a crystalline body. We're going back to the way we were. And that process is also included on this twin flame path, but not just subjected to it only, because there are those who are also on this ascension path. Not necessarily is it a twin flame path, you see. It's just that when it comes to a twin flame path, there's a lot more dynamic to this, okay? It can be quite painful, as I said, crazy-like, you know, and stuff like that. But the main thing is that when you are experiencing these triggers, and you're not only having triggers, there's also activations taking place. You feel like you're in a washing machine. I've heard many people use that analogy like myself, like you're being washed out. And then as you're being washed out, there's times when you're going to go through that separation phase, like I said, where you may not be speaking to each other, talking to each other, seeing each other. And then you come back again. There's some type of communication. At the moment when it's happening, that even if the person is not responding, or even if whatever it is that's showing up in your reality, do always remember, soul is up to something. The soul, in order for it to come back into this unified state, this balanced state, we have to think of it from that higher consciousness that is coming in, the heart consciousness, okay, and higher galaxies. There's so much involved here beyond, I'm having a relationship, okay? It's a divine union that is happening. And if you picture this with me, what it means is it also is that as we're coming into this space of true love, okay, and the true love is coming through with a sexual energy, and we have to shift out all the old relationship templates and how, you know, the views on sex, views on your body, all of that healing. And it's not overnight, because if you've went through hundreds of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of lifetimes, you heard what I said, millions of lifetimes, that's a lot of healing. And even on your journey, it's not like you're just going to go, I'm going to be living happily ever after. It's an ongoing process, or you say in the British, process, because we're on, it's a soul evolution, not a revolution. No weapons, no knives, none of that. See? It's none of that. We're coming back to the truth, and we know of the truth, and we're setting ourselves free with the truth, and what brings us back into that blissful state, because everything Spirit showed me is how it is on the other side, meaning we're, you know, those who've crossed to the other side, which is still right here on this side, because people think, you look up at the sky and that's the other side. No, it's right here. It's just at a higher frequency, you see. And with twin flames also, there's magic. Magic.
Hold that thought.
Yes. Okay.
I want to bring in, I want to talk about that. I'm glad that you're going there. So what we're going to do is I want to thank you all for joining us, and our guest, Sharon. And as we talk about twin flames, and we're going to get into the magic in the ancient world and twin flames in a little bit, but we're going to take a short radio break, and we'll be right back. So hold that thought. Intuit and spiritual healer, Ta'Von Powell. And you are listening to I Am, We Are. Take this powerful opportunity to invest in your own healing today by scheduling your 2018
Ascension Reading from me. Each Ascension reading is dedicated and focused to each individual's human, and it is sure to provide mental, spiritual, and emotional healing. To book your session with me today, go to Shabazz, Reservo, RESERVIO.com. That's to book your session with me today.
So the true definition of a man was to never cry, work till you're tired, got to provide, always be the rock for my fam, protect them by all means, and give you the things that you need, baby. Our relationship is suffering, trying to give you what I never had. Say I don't know how to love you, babe. Well, I say show me the way. I keep my feelings deep inside, I channel them with my pride. I'm trying desperately, baby, just work with me. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Yeah. Teach me how to love. Yeah. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me, show me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me how to love. I was always taught to be strong. Never let them think you care at all. Let no one get close to me before you and me. I done shared things with you, girl, about my past that I'd never tell. And expressing my feelings. It took me a minute to come and admit this, but see, I'm really trying to change now. Wanna love you better, show me how.
Greetings. I am divine intuit and spiritual healer Ta'Von Powell, and you are listening to I Am, We Are. Take this powerful opportunity to invest in your own healing today by scheduling your 2018 Ascension Reading.
All right, Sharon, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I am present.
All right. So thank you all for that short break. I would like, so you said something very, very powerful, and it's going to stay away in the second part of my conversation. And
yes.
So the reason why Spirit asked me to bring in the ancient wisdom portion of this conversation around twin flames, divine compliments, really just anybody's on a path of higher unfoldment, because one of the things that, as I'm learning on my journey, is that we have access to all consciousness. And even more specifically, we have access to any consciousness within our own self that we have lived. So, prime example, in a past lifetime, if you were a queen, you have access to the power of that queendom. You have access to the abilities, the giftings of that queendom. And in order for you to transcend the physical reality that you are in now, you have to learn how to tap into that energy. So my question for you, how do we tap into that energy?
I love that you asked that question, because Spirit said to me when we were, the little break thing, you must go into the aspect of how do you get to this magic before you even talk about this magic. You must be born again. That part in the scriptures that relates to you must be born again, but not in the way you think. That means that you're going to go through the ride of your life. You're going to be stripped of things. That means you're going to be stripped of probably the type of work that you do, moving. It's all kind of shifts that happen with you. You go through, like they call it, a dark night of the soul. You go through depression, sadness, all of this, okay? All of this is what comes together for you to come back to yourself, you see? And you are tapping into that frequency of who you were in that past and allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper and deeper, because that's where it takes you. It takes you deeper and deeper and deeper and wider and wider. And the more you go deeper and down into that shadow of death, because it's like you're facing a death and going through the cycles of death and rebirth, you know, that is that part of that sacred alchemy, and it's like you're burning off the old stuff. That means anything that you have picked up, you know, like when you accumulate dust and stuff and dirt, that means that things that you've been taught through childhood, pain that you've gone through, whether it's abuse, physical abuse, even some abuses you may have experienced with a spouse or even with your own twin from a past life, you know, because some people think that, oh, I've always had a great time. No, it's everything that shows up. There's also ancestral wounds. I've even had to heal through wounds of what my mother experienced in this life, even though I didn't. That is how deep this journey goes. And there's things that reflect on your end and also on your twins' end with their family. You're going to be processing through things through the dream state, your waking state, okay? All of this. It's nonstop. It's ongoing. You're in for the ride of your life. And as you continue to unfold and unlock, and it can only come in increments because you may also start to remember things about yourself through past lifetimes. I always say that how sometimes you can relate to who you were in the past and how what comes up with tapping into who you were and the magic, because we are all, I would say, rulers of our own queendoms and kingdoms. It's just that at that time, there were some people who just didn't understand what it meant, and they called and labeled people as witches and whoremongers. They didn't understand what the sacred sexual element means to do with this path. And as you look at who you are now in this present lifetime, look at the gifts that you have. Look at your personality. Pay attention to your personality. Pay attention to your twin's personality. Get the birth dates. What is the birth date? Everything comes together astrologically as well. Okay, even as I'm speaking, heat is coming through my body. Okay, because all of the elements of that, because the one thing that I thought was to be so ironic how much I know who I am from the beginning of time is I always seem to know how to pick up all the pieces and put all the pieces together. If you leave out any piece of the puzzle and say, oh, I don't want to look at that, I don't want to look at that, you're not wanting to face yourself, because it's all about facing yourself. It's all about bringing all the pieces together. So you can allow yourself to expand on this. The soul is not limited. It's limitless. See? It's ongoing. You brought yourself to these experiences. You brought yourself to all of this excitement, fun. And I love when you said that you think of conversations with God. You know, he says you love the joy. Remember that part in the book, Neil Donald Walsh? He said you love the pain. You love this. And you decided to come back again. And I know you say it sucks. Yes, it does sometimes. And then sometimes it's delightful. It's okay to feel that way. But all of this is a part of how you bring back this magic. And when I say magic, I'm not talking about you just have a wand in your hand. And this is magic that's happening within you. But to come back to that place, you will have to let go of so many views, perceptions you may have, or what you think. It's not having any expectations or being attached to the outcomes or attached to a person. It's totally letting go. This has to do with surrendering and more surrendering and levels of surrendering.
And I think what happens too, a lot of times in these relationships and these experiences is that control, where a lot of people, and including myself, and I'm talking even beyond intimate relationships and friendships and any type of agreement, is that wanting to control and dictate that comes from living in this carnal flesh. And spirit doesn't operate in that demeanor. It is a flow. Right. There's an openness. You know, and I love how you said it, because this journey, when you become into the I am that you are, and you go deep within yourself, you will go to release some things.
Yes.
And it's just better. It's just easier and I'm getting to that point. It's just easier to just like, okay, Spirit, I got it. You know what I mean? Like, I got the lesson, because the more we hold resistance, the longer it takes us to get through what we're supposed to be learning. And not thank you, Spirit. Scratch that word. We're not learning anything. We're remembering.
We're remembering, because everything the soul knows. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We are remembering.
That's right.
And the thing what we're doing is we're shifting. Thank you, Spirit. I like to talk always about the soul and the brain. The brain is tied to the physical senses, what we can see, what we can smell, so on and so forth. And the soul is all-knowing. And so the brain requires experiences in the physical realm that you can shift and get a knowing for the brain. And so this is why that's why I tell people, when you say, I want to be total peace, well, guess what? You're going to create chaos in the physical world.
Right.
Or I want to be loving. Okay, so then the aspect of darkness is going to show up in the physical realm, but you do not panic when it shows up. You do not panic when it shows up. Thank you. Or judge it. You go deeper. Thank you, Spirit. You go deeper within, and you stand on the principles from an inner space of knowing, and I like to say, this is my saying, and you shift the shit out of that physical reality. And you say, you know what? I know. Despite what it's looking like in my circumstances, I speak the word of peace. Despite that, my twin, whatever, don't even focus on whatever twin. I know I have a loving twin flame. I know I'm reflecting my mirror. I know we're standing in divine love. You just keep affirming that reality. And by universal law, and I use this, I practice this like every day. By universal law, the universe must respond to our vibration. Spirit said, and our discipline. I heard that, Spirit. And and our discipline, and bring us our experience. And I think what I'm hearing, though, if we can be more disciplined within self on this journey, more disciplined with the practice of the principles of doing the spiritual work, then the manifestations will come quicker, because we wouldn't be so tied to the physical world and the world of appearances, and we would be more in the inner space, or as Sharon like to say, working that magic. If you get what I'm saying, working that magic. Okay, so did you have a comment? But I wanted to open up the phone.
No, I just wanted to say that it truly does become magical, and like I said, the more that you are in that surrender stage, because the feminine principle and the feminine aspect represents intuition, knowing, wisdom, letting go also, and surrendering, coming into that space of so much love, true love, and feeling love. And I know some people say, well, isn't it still romantic? Yes, I believe it is romantic. I truly do, because, I don't want to leave that out, because that's one of the main things that comes up in so many people that write. But it's not just that alone. That's the thing. There's more to that space and aspect, but just that it's being rewritten. We're rewriting, we're retemplating, we're redoing things in a different way. This has never been done before. Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were bringing in the divine feminine and masculine codes, but it didn't go as far as it could go, and then it just dissipated. So now we're bringing it into its truest form in the physical realm. So it's everything together, the emotional body that is healing, the mental bodies that is healing, the astral body, your etheric body, see? But especially your emotional body. The emotions is what ties so much to all of this control that has taken place on the earth plane, and that's why it is necessary for it to be in a balanced state and harmonious state. For you to come into this real grand, true union, you really do have to be, must be in a state of balance and harmony within yourself, and not being attached to the outcomes and the circumstances, because it's like it's something that's holding a space in an energy field. And it's so tight that nothing can come through. And then the masculine aspect is being restructured and reset as well, where you know how to exercise greater control and power, knowing when to take steps and knowing when to step back, knowing when to move forward, knowing when to be still. It's all about balance, see? And it's happening even with those who are in the male bodies of what is balancing within themselves, because it's never been done before, because, allowing yourself to tap into your emotions and crying and releasing, see? so important, and not labeling it as this is this and this is that. So that's one of the key things, and as we continue to move through that process, you bring on magic that happens between you and your true divine partner, because there's a particular frequency that matches to you and that person. And each person is to understand that if you're in a relationship that's karmic, sometimes these karmic relationships is also helping that person to come back to its true self as well. So not to label who that person is and what they represent, because they represent an aspect of you. If you're still in a karmic partner as a twin that's not making a move to release that person, that's not serving your highest and best, that's a block for you, see? So it's all these different dynamic elements that take place. And for those who also say, well, I don't know if this is my twin. I never ever tell anyone who their twin is. That's for you to know. That's between you and yourself and the divine. No one can tell you who you are more than yourself. See? And
well,
that's,
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I think another important part about that, and this is what I'm hearing very strongly, though, when you have to have it, and this is where the self aspect of it comes in, really. Mm-hmm. It's really not about what the other human being is doing, and so you should, if they're requiring to have the experience of releasing energetically in order to prepare them for the sustainability of that twin flame connection in the physical sense, then you don't even need to be conceptualized. From what I understand, what I'm hearing, you don't even need to be conceptualized what they're doing with their relationship. All your energy should be focused on what you know for you and what you're choosing to experience. And the reason why I say that, because if you are able to, and yes, thank you, Spirit, on a human level, you are going to bring up those abandonment issues. You are going to bring up those rejection energy issues. You're going to bring up anything that you need to shift and heal, but make it about you. Turn that mirror reflection back and say, this is coming up for me to clear it and heal it. And Sharon is absolutely correct. At times, depending on the level of agreement, I won't say mission, the level of agreement that your soul chose, you may be also clearing for the entire family or an entire generation.
Oh, we're always clearing for the entire family. That's a given in every template. But here's something else that Spirit is guiding me to say so importantly, because, yes, it is about us, because every person is still carrying a particular frequency or what is out of balance or out of sync, okay? Because there's some who are so focused on the self-journey that some of them are choosing to ignore anything that's showing up that their twin is coming to and showing them, whether in the dream state or the physical state, because it's still a part of the self. And so it's about balancing. It's about balancing, because usually sometimes someone may try to sort of ignore and everything, and they're stuck, or they start to become angry, or better yet, every single soul is holding a frequency from the beginning of time of looking for the one. Looking for the one. It's within our DNA. You see, so I also deal with things from a logical perspective, see, as well, and all of it together. And so to me, that's a natural state to look for the one. So, yes, the one is within you, but it's still expressed externally as well, because we must complete that circle. Again, I, me, you, my counterpart, and God, that trinity, that triad, the triangle. See? We have to complete that thing to make it, and it looks like a diamond because it's upside down and it's right side up. See?
Yeah, that's
what that makes that the masculine and feminine. And so as we're searching for the one, okay, I'm taking this from a high level now because I'm an Aquarian. I'm the air sign. I'm the one that brings it into the higher dimensional state. And as we're searching for the one, we're going to keep searching for the one through others, looking for the one and say, oh, this is not the exact match. Nope, something's missing. Oh, nope. Doesn't mean that, I know sometimes people tend to label each person. Oh, this one is an asshole. This one is a dickhead. Oh, this one is a motherfucker. All these things. But remember and understand that person is showing you something for you to heal within yourself as you continue on your path to either finding the one or you find the one. And when I say the one, I'm talking about the one that matches you in every way. That's your gift to yourself. That's your gift from the divine. You're not here to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
You're not here to be going through pain, as you call it, but then that pain brings you back to power. And as you find the one, the gift that's given to you, then people say, oh, I don't like this. I don't want this. No, I'm going to find somebody else. And that is a frequency that's been held with so many souls that they keep trying to go to someone else, and then the vibration starts to go down. As you find the one, understand that they too are working through their own healing. See? And it's to be patient with this, because you either choose, do you want to have good, better, best? If you're seeking to have a harmonious state with someone or others, that means that you have to allow yourself to go through the process of what is and what isn't. See? The opposite must show up. We must go through the contrast. We must go through the what you say is the polarity. Because the only way back to the self is through the polarity. Going into the lower state, not staying there, but you go there. You're going to go down, and you're still up at the same time. Have you ever had that experience where you're up and down at the same time? You're crying and laughing at the same time? That's the part of the process. See? That's a part of it. And it's when you come back to that wisdom, you also create magic. That's a part of the sacred alchemy.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to say that, because there's some people, like I said, who are just focused, yes, I'm on my self journey, and then they're still unhappy because you're fooling yourself. You still desire to have that experience in the physical, because that's what the soul desires. It's not just knowing this love, but saying, hey, I choose and I desire to experience all I know, including this higher, true divine love with someone else. But this is where both are coming into their balance within themselves, and they're in their sovereignty. There's no attachment and control and power over the other, and concern about outcomes and circumstances, just being in the flow and being in delight, just like a child. Being in a childlike state.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to open up the line. I'm going to start with 210-365-7953. You're on the air. If you have a question for either myself or Sharon, I'm going to open your mic up now. Hello, are you there, 210?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I don't have a question. Yes, I don't have a question at the moment, but I'm just learning more about the twin flame and, just listening to Sharon, just taking some notes. And, I've spoken to her before as well, too. So,
What's your name, honey?
My name is Geraldine.
Oh, yes. Hi, Geraldine. How are you?
Hi. And the one part that that you said that's sticking out is, I guess the way they're coming, it's something that we have to learn to be able to heal. So how am I able to heal, or how do I, work through that?
Okay, is that in reference to, because there's some who have not met their twin counterparts as yet, and there's some who have. So it doesn't mean that if you have or haven't that it makes it, any better or worse. But I would usually say that how do you know what it is there for you to heal is to go within that space within yourself as to what is showing up emotionally for you. And also, anyone that you are in contact with, whether it's a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, they're also representing an aspect of your twin that's showing up for healing, whether they're in your physical space or not, okay? And as you clear through the blocks, as you clear through the pain, things that come from childhood, like if you have a parent or anyone that being conscious of it, okay, that shows up with how you feel, that's already starting you on your path to healing, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd like to offer something too. When it comes to both self and also for your intimate experiences, projection is a very powerful tool. Projection, and I'm talking about energetic projection. So where you acknowledge, you acknowledge on the human level, you acknowledge the so-called shortcomings, and I'm using that word choice on purpose, so-called shortcomings, the so-called areas where that human in yourself are requiring growth, but at the same time, you're projecting energetically that they are in a state in which you're choosing to experience them in. And so what that does when you begin to project and move through that projection, it helps that human because remember, with these relationships, they have a particular frequency and a particular vibration. So there's cords that exist between you and these humans, right? There's cords, they're energetic cords. And as you project them more and more in a higher state of existence, that humans begin to live up to that vibration. And this is also how you know who's not for you, because as you begin to project certain energies, those who don't have that agreement or those who may not choose to walk in that agreement, and I'm not talking about them on a human level saying, oh, I don't want to date you. No. I'm talking about on a soul-to-soul level. On that level, you will know because that human will begin to shift their realities. And so that divine, whatever you were choosing to experience or whatever you were choosing to experience begins to show up in your reality and their reality because of the projections and also because of the energetic cords and agreements between you two. And so I know that's a lot. But
I would love to add, excuse me, Ta'Von, something, not just conceptualizing, but an example. Say you have, especially a female who's in the female and the feminine embodiment, and you have a mother who is very controlling and overbearing, and say you're living in her space and you're 40 years old, and you are allowing her to tell you what to do, where to go, and so on and so forth. That's a block within you. It's like it's like the mother is showing you how you can allow yourself to become more empowered, or if you're being abused by a spouse, you're allowing yourself to become empowered by walking away from relationships that are not serving you. Because you see, when we have those blocks, that's what we call them, it's a little bit more challenging to have true love come in. And so true love means that everything that the soul has accumulated throughout lifetimes and having the same experiences that are also passing through from generation to generation. There's a lot of females especially that carry that, have the womb space. There's so much to talk about this, but just to give you an idea where healing comes into this and where healing takes us back to the true self and what shows up in the outer reality as this true love as well. Because you're going to experience it not just based on just one person. It's also through everyone that is around you, what's shifting. Everything is shifting, all of it. You see?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. I think we get down to the point that we all are a reflection of each other, and that there's nothing that happens nothing that happens without energetic agreement, and that's starting to be very crystal clear to me. And so even where we live, the people that are in our lives, who we are attracting, they're all serving us in some capacity, and it's a choice to see them assisting us. It's a choice to see them assisting us. Even the so-called karmic relationship, or even the so-called, it also brought into you I call it gift. They also brought to you a very powerful gift for you to open to see where you need to heal, where you need to grow, where you need to expand, and so on and so forth. So as we begin to, again, project and change the perspective, like Sharon said, it becomes less painful. It becomes less painful, and we see it in a different order. So I'd like to thank you for getting on the call.
Thank you, Geraldine.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to open up the line to 914. You are now on the call. Hello?
Hello. Hi. Thank you for taking my call and just amazing show. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with tonight?
Speaking to, yes.
Yes, my name is Katie.
Greetings, Katie.
Okay.
Greetings.
You had a question or
comment or concern for us?
Comment?
Yes, please. I was wondering, I'm working on myself. I've been doing a lot of healing, and I was wondering if you can see my progress. Is that an okay question?
Yes, of course, absolutely. You want to start first, Ta'Von, or did it matter in the specifics?
Go ahead.
Okay. What is your name again, sweetheart?
Katie.
Katie. Okay, Katie. Oh, when I tune into you, I just feel like the dancing fairies, okay? And it's just so precious, so pure where you are, and it's so floating, and light. And I could feel that you are desiring for things to become more solidified in your life and to become more in your awareness, okay, and what's coming together. So, but what I'm feeling too within you is that there's something for you to be even more confident with yourself, because I could feel a little shyness with you, and becoming more, how would I say, defining of your femininity, defining of who you are, becoming more into your power, okay, and templating it, okay. So it's nothing wrong with having that beautiful soft side to you, but now it's time for you to come even more into your power, and that means with how you relate to people, okay, and that's what you want to bring together in your sacred partnership with someone. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because because you know, when it's not in balance, that's when things just feel like as if it's just missing from you, okay, and being out there, and that sometimes people think that you have to say something for people to recognize it. Sometimes it's just being it, okay, and not being afraid to be who you are with that. Does that make sense? Because that's what I'm kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what I'm getting for you right now. Yeah. So don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid to speak up and express yourself, and coming into your manpower, your masculine power, I should say. You're coming to your masculine power. And you know, it's like I see you as someone that just you can stand up on the mountaintop and you could still be dainty and still be, you know, coming into your goddess center, you know, and with even more strength, okay? That's what I'm feeling, and having it coming from your solar plexus, coming up, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Am I making sense?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for getting on the call.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so what we're going to do.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
God bless
no, thank you.
You're welcome. Peace and blessings.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break. But when we return, we're going to talk about your book. If that's okay with you, we're going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. And if anyone else have questions, still feel free to still call in. Absolutely.
All righty. Okay, and that call-in number, if you are listening live and you would like to have a question for either me or Sharon, that call-in number is 646-668-2382. We'll be right back after this short break.
For all we know, we may never meet again. Before you go, make this moment sweet again. We won't say goodnight
All right. Sharon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm present.
All right. I really enjoy, let me let you know that I'm really enjoying having this conversation. For those who are here this week, we will be back for part 2. And please believe that it will get more juicier, get deeper, and it'll be more profound on next week.
Yes, it will. And I'm just as pleased and just as delighted having these conversations. I really am. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your book and what led you to write this book. I know you touched on it a little bit in your bio, but let's go a little bit deeper into it.
Well, the book, first of all, I didn't even know that I was doing a book when I started recording. I started recording the first 3, I would say, hours of the book, what I would consider to be the first chapter, early January of 2016. And it started from me, going through, I call it the full-blown awakening, because I consider myself to be awakened since I was 3 years young. I always knew there was something more to what life is, because I was always observing people, their behavior and how they treat one another and everything. And so my mother has been just that guiding light for me from when she was here in the physical world and on the other side. And and so when I uncovered myself to who I was, is because it started out like right around December 31st, before New Year's. That's when I knew, because my twin flame found me June of 2014. I went through my dark night of the soul, what you call experience, for about 3 months. And I knew I went to the darkest part of myself in pain, because when he pulled away from me, that's when, and it's not because I had a relationship with him. Something was in the core of my being, and it took me to a place of such deep depression. And I just felt like nothing was working out. And I knew even at the time, with whatever I was experiencing, it was not like any other. And it brought me closer to God, even closer to God than ever before. And I'll never forget when I went into my bathroom and I went on my knees and I cried my heart out. And I said, God, please help me, please help me. And my children were so concerned about me. They came over to take me to the movies, and my friend, Marcia, her grandson, came. He was just like 4 years old at the time, and he just came up to me and he said, Auntie Sharon, can I play with the toys? And I broke down and bawled, because I said, oh my God, he's such an innocent little baby. He didn't even know what, but that was just the light of God showing up through him with unconditional love. And that's when I started to feel better right after that, even more so. And so as I fast forward to December 31st, I went to this party with a friend of mine named Danielle, and I was guided to wear a gold dress. And I went to 2 different parties, and so I didn't know what was going on. And then I heard all this music to do with Queens and whatever was going on, and she's royal and all that stuff. And so the next day I decided to take my children to Dave & Buster's, because I always like to balance things out. I have time with myself and time with them. And as I was on my way back home, I was driving up the mountain, and I heard Spirit say, you know that you and him were king and queen in a past life. And I'm like, say what? And Spirit says, yes. And so I said, well, who? And I heard that this was coming straight from the divine. There was no angels, no guides, nothing, straight from the divine. I was just 2 minutes away from coming home. And I heard Spirit say, go and look it up. And I said, okay. And I was like a child. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get home and go on my computer. And I typed in, I said, well, which queen am I? And Spirit said, well, why don't you look up and see which queen? And I knew it was Egypt, because someone contacted me from Egypt through Tango that same night. So it was no coincidence. That energy was already starting to show up. And so as I typed in all these queens and I looked at, these other queens, including Cleopatra, and I was like, no, that's not me. And as soon as I saw the one that says, the beautiful one has come, Queen Nefertiti, and I was like, huh. I said, because people always describe me as that all the time. Oh, you're so beautiful, da-da-da-da. And it kept going on. And then as soon as that happened, the doors started to unlock. the Pandora's box. Everything just started to open up, and more signs all over the place was continuously through the month. So I started recording with my aunts that
I'm sorry,
January 2nd.
To cut you off.
Sure.
When you say signs, because this is something that probably will help assist other people. When you say signs, what are you talking about? Signs? What
I was getting synchronicities of things showing up as Egypt, pictures of Nefertiti, tattoos, people that had tattoos. And I recorded everything. I just started because I heard Spirit say record everything, and I was like doing my own findings. It's like I was. It reminded me of being like I was Indiana Jones in the feminine form, like on an adventure. Okay. And so as I was being guided,
it's an adventure of your soul.
It was an adventure of my soul, uncovering myself, and I find it to be fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And as I uncovered it, and then when I saw the information to do with who her divine consort was, Akhenaten, that's when I became even more excited, because then I also realized at some point how I looked like myself back then, and the bust, everything, and who he is, and the principles and the new kingdom. And I realized, wow, they said she was a heretic queen. I said, oh, I'm so heretic still. I said, here I am. And I was just becoming more empowered. And a book came to my home that I ordered, and it had to do with Nefertiti and Akhenaten, and it was related to the Garden of Eden, Eve. And also I was taken into scriptures to focus on the book of Genesis, genes of Isis. Okay. So it was just so much things. So as I recorded, one of the main things that I heard Spirit say is to tell others the queens must rise first within herself. She must rise within herself to relate to herself and what comes together in that frequency to attract the king back into her life, and what comes together in this kingdom, this magic, what was before we fell from grace, as they call it, and not in a negative way. Falling from grace means that we descended in consciousness. We descended, then we started speaking in different languages and tones, because all this was a part of the process of getting to know ourselves back, because we were in so much blissfulness and joy. It was like, oh, this is lovely, but it's too boring. We need to know more about ourselves. So let's create this. We are all creative beings. See? And it's through this is how we came to this place where we're at right now. And so this book in and of itself, as I was speaking, I also speak in many tongues. I speak in ancient Chinese, ancient Italian, ancient Portuguese, Egyptian dialects. Everything just flows through me. So even if I do a reading, it's because our souls are communicating. It's not about the words itself, because the words is what has caused so much confusion on this planet, and the way how people communicate and interrelate with one another. And that's why I was being guided. It must be an audiobook where you hear my voice, because there's codes within each and every one of us. And when I speak on this book, I take it back to everything: music, poetry, true love, parts of myself, who you are, everything, sacred sexuality. I speak briefly on things that have happened throughout history, when it comes to the females, different countries. I'm from the islands. I was born in the island of Jamaica. And it represents out of many one people. And I trace back to the history from Egypt, because I reincarnated there more than one time, and how my daughter, she is the reincarnation of Anaxenamun, who is also, her consort was King Tutankhamun, which is my son Brennan. So it's a whole dynamic of this entire reincarnation of family that's here. And I realized how I am with my family, and the same children. I have 5 children are the ones who reincarnated, because they said Nefertiti had 6 children when actually it was 7. Okay, so there's things that were also written in history that things were left out and distorted as well. So I just want to, so all of this, I come back to the truth of things, how we refer to the scriptures, the spiritual aspect, everything that comes together to who we are, what we have created throughout humanity's history from the beginning of time until now, the difference, igniting ourselves, the unions. I speak about the mystery of the white lions. I go into the aspects of the masculine, the feminine, the beauty that shows up, the art, mother, the feminine principle that was taken out of the scriptures, and bringing that together. how we're breaking down the structures of the government, what I experience. You're hearing me speak, in the moment, people who I interact with, what's shifting to do with the mental slavery, the emotional slavery, everything that has come forth in history, paying attention to the lyrics of music, how we're changing with music, the perception we have about music, books, coming back to the heart space and becoming more living a heart-centered life. And also the planets. I discuss the planets. I discuss the frequencies. I discuss the elements of the earth, gold, silver. Do you know that that's within your body? So I bring all the, the stuff. And so a lot of things that I talk about in the book, I'm like really like over 3 years of recordings, and it's going to be like volumes, just like Harry Potter, see? And it's audio. And I'm also anticipating, pardon me?
No, go ahead.
No, I said I'm anticipating for it to be in, what do you call it, for the hard of hearing, because they'll say, well, what about those who can't hear? It's going to be like a child book where I have pictures, because I take pictures wherever I go. I also talk about synchronicities, the numbers, sequences. What does it mean? Because some people, they have a distortion around numbers and thinking that it's of, the devils and the demons and all these things. I discuss what is that? What does it really mean? It's just so much things that come together in truth. And it doesn't matter if at the time, if the person does not understand or how they can relate to it, because I even discuss children's stories. And what does it mean? What did it mean to do with the Wizard of Oz, and what is the true meaning of that story, and how does it relate to us in the political sense? Also, I talk about Alice in Wonderland and, falling down into the hole. Everything that Spirit has brought to me, I'm led to it. I don't go looking for it. It's just information. I have volumes of things that I collected. I put them in binders. And I have over 20-something binders of what I've collected. I was sort of like in a reclusive state. I ascended out of my body, and I know what it feels like when I was walking around in the house for about 2 weeks, and I was ascended higher out of my body, like I was like on stilts, and I was up to the ceiling, and I knew what it felt like to be in that blissful state. And so I recorded it, because this is where we're all heading to, into that state of consciousness. And it's when you're at that place where you don't care about nothing, because all you're just in this union with God. And it didn't require me to have any physical person with me in the room. See? I also had the experience of having sacred sexuality, where my whole body was like, what do you call it, feeling horny. That's the best way I can describe it. Your whole body. It's not about just the lower aspect of your body where you're feeling sexually excited. Your heart is also having an orgasm. Your head is having an orgasm. Your spleen, all of you. And I uncovered, and I also discussed all the religions that have been created. All and everything leads us back to God. Everything.
On that note, because don't mean to cut you off, but we are
no problem, because I'll go on.
We're down to the last minute. So how can people contact and schedule a reading with you?
Yes, you can contact me for a reading and send an email to thegardenofeden1111@gmail.com. thegardenofeden1111@gmail.com. Or if you are, you can also send me an instant message on Facebook as well, if you're connected to me in that way. Yeah.
All right, lovely. I want to thank you for joining me today. We look forward to having you next week. And you all have a blessed week. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
So, when it's a rhythm, I know, don't touch my crown. They see the vision I've found. Don't touch what's there.
Greetings. I am Ta'Von Powell, divine intuitive and spiritual healer.